By Sunday afternoon, we knew the 6 teams making the AFC playoffs. We just don't know who gets what seed, and we're going to break it down in our snap judgments. The Bengals, 13-10 winners over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Eric, the Bengals get in the playoffs. Pittsburgh eliminated from the playoffs. The Steelers really didn't play well down the stretch. The Bengals had a lot of moments in this game where they didn't play well either, but they get the win. They're in the playoffs. Pretty impressive for Cincinnati, but not very good for Pittsburgh and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Marvin Lewis and company. The coaching not above reproach on the Cincinnati sideline. I thought some of those questionable game management and play calling decisions, I don't question those things too often, but they were at times terrible. Still, a couple of clutch plays, defensive line dominated. That throw from Andy Dalton, he wasn't great all day, but that one throw to A.J. Green at the end of regulation was super impressive. And the Steelers, second game in a row now where Ben Roethlisberger's interception, he's called out the play caller there, Todd Haley. His bad decision making at the end of the game really cost his team.
The Indianapolis Colts beat the Kansas City Chiefs 20-13. They get the other AFC playoff spot. They're going to be a wild card team. 2-14 last year. Now in the playoffs, Andrew Luck breaks Cam Newton's record from last year for most passing yards by a rookie in a season. Wasn't a great game for Indianapolis, but just an amazing story what this team has gone through, and they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously defensively you have some questions. Yes, they got the pick 6, but giving up over 350 yards rushing, believed to be the first team to win in a game which they allowed so many rushing yards. Unbelievable. They've got to patch up some of those things before the postseason, but you're right. I mean, Luck adds so much to this team. They've gone through so many different combinations at cornerback, the offensive line, so many different parts of the bottom of this roster look pretty ugly in August, but they've come together. What a coaching job, and Chuck Pagano returns to the sidelines starting this week. Just an incredible story. Keeps on rolling.
So we know that Indianapolis is going to be around there in the 5 or 6 seed. Cincinnati's in. We'll see what happens with Baltimore. And then you have the Houston Texans. They could have wrapped up a first-round bye and home field advantage with a win. Instead, they lose 23-6 at home to the Minnesota Vikings. A big loss for Houston that keeps Denver and New England alive for that 1 seed. And the Minnesota Vikings, they stay in that NFC wildcard hunt. They actually hold the playoff spot as it stands right now. And it wasn't even a huge day for Adrian Peterson, but the Vikings defense put together a huge performance.
Defense and special teams. I mean, Blair Walsh, the kicker's been outstanding all season long now, sets a record with his 9th 50-yard field goal of the season. So impressive there. You said it with the defense. Arian Foster knocked out of the game. It sounds like he's okay with the irregular heartbeat. That's good news. But to me, Matt Schaub didn't make enough plays. The offensive line got completely dominated by that Vikings front. And this is their best performance of the year for the Minnesotans. I really thought they came through with the performance they had to have. And think about how many times we questioned whether they were going to be knocked out of the playoff picture, whether they were going to be out of contention. Guess what? They're right in the thick of things, and they're playing their best ball right now.
When we looked at the Vikings schedule a few weeks ago, we thought no chance they're going to be able to make the playoffs. You look at the teams they have to play, but they've stayed in it. They're right there in the NFC playoff hunt and have a very good chance of making the playoffs, especially if they're able to beat Green Bay in the season finale.
All of a sudden the talk on Christian Ponder's kind of eased up a little bit. Peterson's going to try to go for 2,000, going to try to go for the record next week, but they can really build up his confidence going forward here.
The playoff picture a little bit clearer in the AFC. The NFC is still a bit of a cluster, but we'll see what happens as the day goes on. Those are our snap judgments from the first games in Week 16. To see other ones, check out our YouTube channel and head to our website at ProFootballWeekly.com.